All right, so we're off to the races. We have our pencils. I do not have a 6B, so I am substituting with a 5B. And I'm marking underneath 6B with a 5B. I'm going to start with the ebony and go all the way to the H. And I'm using light sustained pressure and small circles. And I'm taking my time. I'm not scribble shading. If you notice, my pencil is doing little circles. And I'm going to have to build these layers of little circles, because the goal is to have a nice, smooth, gradual blend. And you're just testing out the pencils, seeing how they feel, because each pencil, depending on how hard or how soft the lead is, will feel different. Also, how humid. The humidity plays a part with pencil drawing with the lead, because a lot of times when it's very humid, your paper holds moisture. Have you ever noticed in the summertime when you're drawing and your paper feels different, especially if you don't have the AC on? It's because your paper holds moisture, that humidity. So I'm just constantly doing little itty bitty circles. All around. And I'm having to blow, the lead is so soft that it's leaving dust. So I'm constantly having to occasionally blow off the extra lead. Because if I did this, if I used my hand and swept, you see how you can't possibly, you might be able to. I've smudged the paper. I've smudged the lead. I even have it on my finger already, just by doing that little swipe. Just filling the box very slowly, taking my time, making sure I'm in the lines. Little baby circles. And I would have to go over this probably again, because if you look how dark this isn't as dark yet. So you can layer. I'm using, again, light pressure. And I'm adding more and more layers. All of you should be doing this along with me. Hard to believe that I've already spent 4 minutes on this one square. No. Even though it looks like I've colored it in, I'm going over with another layer to get that rich black. See how dark I got it? That's about 5 minutes worth of work, one box. Now I'm going to the 5B. Again, small little itty bitty circles. Hand was cramping with that little thing, so I moved to a larger 5B. Give me a thumbs up, middle thumb, or thumbs down. Okay. You've got to slow your roll. If your middle thumb, you might be going a little fast, slow it down. How many of you are noticing your fingers are cramping, your thumb? That's because you're not used to doing those little circular motions. You're used to just using your wrist and scribbling. Here it's a different technique. You're using light sustained touch in small circles. You can already start to see the difference in the shade and the difference in tone. Here I'm going over it again. Turning my paper this way so I can It's okay to shake your hand out every once in a while, because if you're putting that sustained pressure, your hand does cramp up a little bit. I find that shaking kind of loosens and just like music, we're practicing our blending scales. And I can see little specks of where the paper is still shining through, so I'm going over with another layer. Just taking my time. Blowing off any extra lead. I'm now going to go to the 4B. I'm going to sharpen it quick. And again, these little sharpeners help save the actual pencil. I'm not taking off, I'm not grinding it to the nub on the electric pencil sharpener. The Prismacolor pencil sharpener, about 1 or 2 twists is all you need to get that point back on that pencil. So then again, I am starting the 4B. And if you notice, I'm starting to see more and more with my small circles, I'm starting to see more and more white pop up through it. It's because the lead is getting harder and harder. It's not like the 6B or 5B in the ebony where it's so soft that it just fills that paper, the fibers of the paper. This is where, as you go to the harder leads, you're going to need to do more layering. Does that make sense? Because you're going to want a nice blend. And I'm constantly just doing little circles around. Notice how I'm not racing. It's not a race. Itty bitty circles.
So James, this is dark enough for ebony.
Yeah, nice job. Sitting there just doing the little circles. How many of you are finding that it's easy to smudge? Does anybody... Raise your hand if you've got smudges already. It'll happen. All right? It will happen. That's what you can also do, and what I've done in the past is as I'm moving down so that my hand does not smear, because a lot of times I will have this part of my hand will all be black from the lead. So what I can do is I'll lay down tissue over what I've already done so that my hand doesn't smudge it, or my hand doesn't pick up any of that excess lead that is on your paper. Now, when people are doing pencil drawings, detailed pencil drawings that are black and white and it's all shading, a lot of times what they'll do is they will, to keep it from smudging after the piece is done, there's what's called a spray fixative, which seals the work. They've got a workable fixative where you can fix what you've done but still add on to it. And then they have a fixative which is, when you're done, you just set it and forget it. And I still see a little white popping through. Same thing with the 5B. So I'm noticing little spots that I missed a bit. So I'm going through and filling those little white spots. Got to make sure you're using the right pencil and the right square. I almost went to 4B with the 5B. I don't know if you can start to see. There's a lot of glare, but I'm starting to see a tonal change. You'll really see the tonal change on this next one when I go to the 2B, the pencil that you're probably the most familiar with. And again, just little circles. It might be hard to see the gradual change on the screen because of the glare of the lead. But you should start to see the change. Give me a thumbs up if you see the gradual tonal change from the ebony to the 5B to the 4B, now to the 2B.
I don't really see it from the 5B to the 4B, but it looks the same.
And again, just tiny circles. And again, I'm always shifting my paper around. I'll turn it upside down just so that I can have better access to an area that I'm working on. And I'm constantly doing little circles. You can see my pencil going in that little circular motion. I'm just trying to fill in all those little white areas. Now to the HB. How many of you, give me a thumbs up, middle thumb, thumbs down. How many of you are noticing a different feel with the pencil? How it works on that paper. It is a totally, each pencil has a different feel. Now that I've moved to HB, I can feel more resistance because the lead is harder. It's a mixture between the H and the B. And going in those little circles, like I have talked to you guys with color, when you're coloring your using colored pencils, doing those little circles, it alleviates you getting those strokes, those, directional lines. Who would have thunk we would be only on HB, and we've been doing this for about 21 minutes and 30 seconds.
What's the white part in the middle?
So now I'm starting to get that gradual change. I even notice a different sound with the different pencils. The harder the lead, probably the smaller the circles. Sometimes I'll even tilt the pencil so I'm using the side, not necessarily the tip. That's one way to also keep your pencil sharp. Just constantly rotate it a turn. Now I'm rushing to get this one done by the end of class. You are not rushing, though. You're taking your time. I'm just going to fill this in quick because I want to show you normally I'd be taking a lot more time, but I wanted to show you on this as well. So I'm going to grab my 2H. That is the next level H. So I'm going to write 2H here. And I just want to show you an even harder lead. It's even making sound. So there's an example. I even went on with the 2H. Basically took me 25 to almost 26 minutes to accomplish this, and I did it faster than I should have. All right? Slow and steady wins the race. Until next time.